10 signs Aquarius is ready for a new future. Something has been stirring inside you lately, Aquarius. Not the restless kind of stirring that you have felt 100 times before. The kind that made you want to change your hair or rearrange your furniture, or pick up a new hobby for a few weeks before moving on. No, this is different. This is deeper. This is the kind of stirring that happens when your entire being is preparing for a shift that cannot be reversed, when the ground beneath your feet is rearranging itself to support a version of you that has not fully arrived yet but is undeniably on its way. You may not have the words for it. You may not even fully understand what is happening. But you feel it in your bones, in the way certain things that used to matter suddenly feel irrelevant, in the way your eyes keep drifting toward a horizon you cannot quite see. These 10 signs are your confirmation. They are proof that what you are feeling is not confusion or crisis. It is readiness. Sign 1. The first sign that you are ready for a new future is that your old life has started to feel like clothing that no longer fits. Not in a dramatic way, not like a sudden revelation that everything is wrong. More like a slow, persistent awareness that the routines you have followed, the roles you have played, the patterns you have repeated are simply too small for who you are becoming. You still go through the motions because they are familiar and familiar feels safe. But there is a growing dissonance between what you do each day and what your soul is asking for. The job that once felt meaningful now feels mechanical. The conversations that once energized you now feel predictable. The goals you set 5 years ago, even the ones you achieved, no longer carry the excitement they once did. This is not depression, Aquarius, although it can feel like it from the outside. This is evolution. This is the discomfort that always precedes growth. The tightness that comes before the butterfly breaks free from the cocoon. Your old life is not bad. It served you well. It brought you to this exact moment, and for that, it deserves your gratitude. But gratitude does not mean permanence. You can honor what was while simultaneously reaching for what is next. And the fact that you can feel the difference between the life you have and the life that is calling you forward means that your internal compass is working exactly as it should. Sign 2. The second sign is that you have stopped trying to convince people to understand your vision. There was a time when you would spend hours explaining your dreams to people who did not share them, trying to make them see what you see, feel what you feel, believe what you believe. You wanted allies, cheerleaders, people who would validate your vision and make it feel real. But somewhere along the way you stopped. Not because you gave up on your vision, but because you realized that the right vision does not need universal approval. It only needs your commitment. This is a profound shift, Aquarius, and it signals a level of self-trust that most people never achieve. You are no longer looking for permission to move forward. You are no longer waiting for the stars to align or for someone to give you the green light. You have become your own green light, your own authority, your own source of certainty. This does not mean you have become isolated or arrogant. You still value input from people you respect. You still welcome perspectives that challenge and refine your thinking. But you no longer need those perspectives to feel confident in your direction. The difference between seeking feedback and seeking permission is enormous, and you have finally landed on the right side of that line. When you stop trying to convince others of your vision, you free up an incredible amount of energy that can now be directed toward actually building it. Sign 3. The third sign is that you have begun to release relationships that drain more than they nourish. This is one of the most painful but necessary steps in preparing for a new future, and the fact that you are doing it, even slowly, even reluctantly, speaks volumes about your readiness. For most of your life, you held on to people out of loyalty, history, obligation, or the simple fear of being alone. You tolerated energy vampires because they had been in your life for so long that their presence felt like gravity, something you could not escape even if you wanted to. But lately, something has shifted. You have started to really notice how you feel after spending time with certain people. You pay attention to the heaviness in your chest, the fatigue in your bones, the subtle dimming of your spirit that happens in the presence of someone who takes without giving. And instead of ignoring those signals, you have started honoring them. You have started creating distance, setting boundaries, and in some cases walking away entirely. This is not cruelty, Aquarius. This is self-preservation at its most enlightened, because the future you are moving toward requires every ounce of energy you have, and you cannot afford to leak that energy into relationships that give nothing back. The people who belong in your new future will make themselves known by the way they add to your life rather than subtract from it. Sign 4. The fourth sign is that you have developed a new relationship with uncertainty. In the past, not knowing what was coming next filled you with anxiety. You wanted plans, guarantees, some kind of assurance that the ground beneath you was solid. But now, uncertainty feels different. It does not feel like a threat. It feels like possibility. You have started to see the unknown not as a dark void to be feared, but as an open canvas to be painted. This shift did not happen because life got easier or because you suddenly became brave. It happened because you survived enough uncertainty to know that you can handle whatever comes. Every unexpected turn you navigated, every plan that fell apart only to be replaced by something better, every leap of faith that somehow led to solid ground. These experiences rewired your relationship with the unknown. You no longer need to see the whole staircase before taking the first step. You just need to feel the rightness of the direction, and you trust yourself to figure out the rest as you go. This comfort with uncertainty is one of the clearest signs that you are ready for a new future. Because new futures by definition are uncertain. They cannot be fully planned or predicted. They require a willingness to step into fog and trust that the path will reveal itself one step at a time. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Sign 5. The fifth sign is that you have started to prioritize inner peace over external achievement. This does not mean you have lost your ambition or your drive. It means you have redefined what those words mean to you. For years, achievement looked like things you could show the world. Titles, possessions, milestones that other people could see and validate. But now, achievement has taken on a quieter, more personal dimension. You measure your success by how calm you feel when you wake up in the morning. You measure it by the quality of your relationships rather than the quantity. You measure it by how often you laugh, how deeply you sleep, how fully you are present in the ordinary moments of your day. This reorientation is not a sign of giving up. It is a sign of growing up, of reaching the level of wisdom where you understand that no amount of external success can compensate for internal chaos. You have seen enough accomplished people who are privately miserable to know that the world's definition of success is incomplete. Your new definition includes peace, and that inclusion changes everything about how you approach your future. The decisions you make from a place of inner peace are fundamentally different from the decisions you make from a place of striving. They are clearer, more aligned, more sustainable, and more likely to lead to a future that actually makes you happy rather than just impressed. Sign 6. The sixth sign is that you have begun to feel a pull toward something you cannot yet name. This is perhaps the most mysterious and the most exciting sign of all. It is a sense of being drawn forward by an invisible force, a feeling that something is waiting for you just beyond the edge of your current understanding. You cannot see it clearly. You cannot describe it in specific terms. But you feel it with a certainty that goes beyond logic. A deep knowing that the next chapter of your life holds something extraordinary. This pull is your intuition speaking, Aquarius, and it is speaking louder now than it ever has before. Your intuition has always been one of your greatest gifts, even though the world taught you to prioritize logic and reason. But intuition and logic are not enemies. They are partners, and the most powerful decisions you will ever make are the ones that honor both. The pull you feel is your intuition telling you that the conditions are right, that the preparation is complete, that the runway is clear for takeoff. You do not need to understand every detail of where you are going. You just need to trust the pull and start moving in its direction. The specifics will reveal themselves along the way, as they always do for someone who has the courage to follow their inner compass, even when the destination is not yet visible. Sign 7. The seventh sign is that you have started to forgive, not because anyone asked you to, but because holding on became heavier than letting go. Forgiveness has been one of the hardest things for you, Aquarius. Not because you are vengeful, because you are not, but because your memory is long and your understanding of cause and effect is sharp. You remember who hurt you. You remember exactly how they did it. You understand the mechanics of the betrayal or the disappointment with a clarity that makes forgetting almost impossible. But lately, you have started to recognize that holding on to those memories, those grievances, those perfectly cataloged wounds, is costing you more than it is costing the people who caused them. The anger you carry does not punish them, punishes you. The resentment you hold does not teach them a lesson. It teaches your body to stay in a state of stress, and your heart to stay partially closed. and you are tired of paying that price. So you have begun slowly and imperfectly to let go. Not because the people who hurt you deserve your forgiveness, although some of them might, but because you deserve the freedom that forgiveness brings. You deserve to walk into your new future without dragging the weight of old wounds behind you. This willingness to forgive is one of the strongest signs that you are ready for what is coming, because it shows that you have chosen your future over your past. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Sign 8. The 8th sign is that you have stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started recognizing that this moment is the one you have. Perfectionism has been one of your most persistent shadows, Aquarius. Your mind is so skilled at envisioning ideal outcomes that the gap between what is and what could be always feels painfully wide. And in that gap you have lost years. Years of waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right alignment of factors that would guarantee success. But something has shifted. You have started to see perfectionism for what it really is. A sophisticated form of procrastination. A way to delay action indefinitely while feeling productive because you are constantly planning, preparing, refining. The truth you have finally embraced is that the perfect moment does not exist. It never has and it never will. There will always be a reason to wait, always a condition that is not quite right, always a variable that introduces uncertainty. But you are done letting those reasons hold you hostage. You are ready to begin with what you have where you are as you are. And that readiness, that willingness to act imperfectly rather than wait perfectly, is perhaps the most important shift of all. Because new futures are not born from perfect plans. They are born from imperfect action, from the messy, courageous, sometimes stumbling act of moving forward despite not having all the answers. Sign 9. The 9th sign is that you have started to feel grateful for the difficulties you have survived. Not grateful that they happened necessarily, but grateful for what they built inside you. This gratitude for your difficulties is a sign of deep spiritual maturity, and it signals that you are ready to carry the wisdom of your past into the possibilities of your future. You are no longer a victim of your experiences, Aquarius. You are their student and you have graduated with honors. The lessons you learned in the fire are exactly the lessons you need for the next chapter of your life. Every scar you carry is a credential. Every wound you healed is proof that you know how to rebuild. And every tear you shed in private was watering the seeds of the resilience that now defines you. Sign 10. The 10th and final sign is the simplest and perhaps the most powerful of all. You feel ready. Not in a way you can fully explain or justify. Not in a way that logic can validate or that evidence can support. You just feel it. A readiness that lives in your bones, in your breath, in the quiet moments between thoughts. A sense that the season of preparation is ending and the season of manifestation is about to begin. This feeling is not wishful thinking, Aquarius. It is not the naive optimism of someone who has not yet been tested by life. It is the informed, seasoned, battle-tested readiness of someone who has been through enough to know that they are prepared for whatever comes next. You have done the work. You have shed the layers. You have healed the wounds. You have forgiven the past. You have released the relationships that were holding you back. You have redefined success on your own terms. You have made peace with uncertainty. You have stopped waiting for permission and started giving it to yourself. All of that has led you here to this exact moment, to this exact feeling of readiness. And you can trust it because it was not manufactured or imagined. It was earned. Every single piece of it was earned through years of living, learning, falling, rising, and refusing to give up on the belief that your best days are not behind you but ahead. They are ahead, Aquarius. And you are ready for them in a way you have never been ready for anything before. The new future is not just coming. It is already here, waiting for you to step into it with the full force of everything you have become. You have two options after this video: close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.